Welcome dear friends to my video lecture on psychology topics. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss on what is psychology, the meaning of psychology, different types of psychology, what is psychology and what is not psychology, etc. Let us straight away enter into the video lecture. What is psychology? There are many misconceptions about psychology and psychologists. Contrary to the popular belief, psychology is not telepathy. Psychologists do not possess supernatural powers. They are not divine beings with the spiritual capabilities. They are not able to accurately assess the character and personality of a person just by looking at them. It is a wrong belief system in some of the people. They think that psychologists are suprahuman beings. They can simply enter into the minds of anyone. It is not true. There are a lot of people who claim to be very knowledgeable about psychology and assert that they can discern an individual's thoughts and personality based on their physical features, handwriting, posture, and even the way they walk. However, these people are not to be trusted. Psychology is a science and psychologists are scientists. Science is a body of confirmed information, sure information, based on observation and experimentation. Scientists do not accept things without question. They observe, research, and search for the truth. Science starts with the observation. The fundamental principle of science is to look for facts rather than relying on authority or imagination or conjecture. Scientists begin by asking questions, researching relevant data, and studying under controlled conditions. They do not try to prove anything. They are trying to test something. They are neutral and objective. They are intellectually honest and open minded. Psychology was once a branch of philosophy. After philosophy was the mother of all sciences. Psychology was defined as a study of soul, and then it was defined as the study of mind, coming under mental philosophy, and later on it was defined as a study of consciousness, and now it is defined as a study of behavior. This is the modern definition of psychology. Psychology is the study of behavior. It studies both the conscious as well as unconscious behavior of human beings. There are many branches of psychology. Psychology is a discipline composed of many subfields or branches. Some psychologists are involved in basic research, which involves developing theories. On the other hand, some psychologists focus on applied research, which involves testing theories. In addition, professional services such as teaching and counseling are also provided. Biological psychologists investigate the link between the brain and the mind, while developmental psychologists focus on growth and development. So, the biology is very much linked with the brain, body, and mind, whereas a developmental psychologists focus their attention on the child, its growth and development, the adult growth and development, everything that developmental psychologists are concerned about. Cognitive psychologists study how people perceive, think, reason, and solve problems. Cognitive psychologists are concerned about the mind functions, the brain functions, how our brain activates our behavior, etc. So there is another branch, industrial, and in fact, industrial and organizational and educational psychologists employ applied research. Psychologists look into how people perceive and influence each other. Clinical psychologists assess and treat people with psychological disorders. Furthermore, psychiatrists or medical doctors that prescribe drugs or other methods to treat physical causes of psychological disorder or psychological illness. A psychological theory is an explanation of behavior that can be tested empirically. Behavior is the way you react to a situation in front of you. This behavior can either be internal, which is not visible, or external, which is seen by others. External behaviors are physical movements, expressions, the way we talk and walk, and so on. Internal behavior is related to our thoughts and feelings, which cannot be seen. Every action has a motive behind it, and sometimes a motive can lead to different actions. This is what psychologists are concerned about, to unearth this phenomenon of the mind. Psychologists focus more on internal behaviors than external behavior, and it is essential for them to identify the internal behavior in order to effectively modify the external behavior. Human beings respond to both internal and external forces such as needs, wants, attitudes, social approval or rejection, rewards, threats, and so on. Domains of behavior. What are the domains of behavior? Psychologists have identified three domains of behavior. Cognitive domain, that is thinking and intellectual activities or brain functions. Then affective domain, it is about feelings, emotions, attitudes, and the like. Then the psychomotor domain, that is about acting or doing motor activities. It was previously called cognitive domain. What are the approaches to behavior in psychology? There are different ways to study and understand how people act or react. Biological psychologists think that all things related to minds are related to the body. Behaviorists think that behavior can be changed through training. Cognitive psychologists focus on how we think and solve problems. Freud's psychoanalysis theory looks at the role of the unconscious mind in behavior. Finally, humanistic psychologists focus on people's current motivations and drives, not genetics or history. Then there is another approach called a neurobiological approach. What does this mean? Doctors, medical researchers, and biologists use the neurobiological approach to study human behavior. This approach looks at the human brain, that is the central nervous system, which is like a very sophisticated computer. So they study the brain functions. Psychologists who use this approach try to find a part or a point in the brain that is responsible for certain behavior. If they want to change the behavior, make it go away or make it stronger, etc., they can try to treat that specific part of the brain with the medicine or physical exercise. For example, the temporal lobe in the brain is involved in memory and the hypothalamus is involved in emotions. However, this approach does not always work to completely change human behavior. Something more is needed. The behavioristic approach of psychology is based on the idea that only external behaviors which can be observed by others can be verified and studied. This approach advocates for conditioning through classical and instrumental techniques as well as shaping behavior as proposed by B.F. Skinner. In addition, intensive training and physical exercises are used as methods to modify behavior, rectify behavior. This approach has been heavily criticized for its lack of consideration of what happens inside the organism, that is, inside the human mind, which is believed to have a significant influence on behavior. The cognitive approach to studying human behavior. This emphasizes the role of cognitive processes such as perception, imagination, thinking, and reasoning in influencing behavior. However, it is also acknowledged that affective processes such as feelings, emotions, drives, and urges play an important role in shaping behavior. Therefore, it is not sufficient to only consider cognitive processes when attempting to understand human behavior. Then there is psychoanalysis approach. Psychoanalysis proposed by Sigmund Freud, and his followers, he emphasizes the role of the unconscious mind in human behavior. While it is true that certain behaviors are motivated by unconscious impulses, it is not correct to say that all behavior can be attributed to the unconscious behavior or unconscious mind. Furthermore, only psychiatrists or psychologists are able to effectively identify the unconscious motive or drive that influences a particular behavior. A trained psychologist can only understand or identify the unconscious motive or drive. Not all people can do that. Although psychoanalysis is a conceptually fascinating field, it is extremely difficult to implement in practice due to this fact. It needs experience in psychologists. Then there is the humanistic approach to psychology. The humanistic approach to psychology focuses on the idea that humans are essentially good and it is the environment they are in that can mold them. In other words, human beings are shaped by the environment in which they are living. It is often referred to the here and now approach as it focuses on the current motives and drives of individuals rather than looking at genetic influence, historical roots, or unconscious motives. Humanistic psychologists believe that individuals can be helped to reach their full potential through counseling techniques. Counseling techniques can be employed to help modify human behavior, they strongly believe. Dear friends, modern approaches are integrated with nature. As a concluding point, we can say not one single approach can be helpful to make a person a fine personality. A combination of the most suitable approaches can be determined depending on the person, their problem, the circumstances, and any other relevant factors. These approaches are not complementary. These approaches are not contradictory. They are not contradicting each other, but rather they are complementary. They are helping each other. Both are interdependent, or all these approaches are interdependent. We can use the combination of all these techniques, approaches in order to make a person a great personality. Dear friends, in this video lecture, we have unearthed the meaning of psychology. Most welcome to all my other video lectures on psychology, sociology, philosophy, and I especially all my videos will be helpful for national eligibility test candidates for first paper as well as for education paper. You are most welcome to enjoy my videos and get some benefit out of it. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you for your presence.